Hello everyone! Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 301. I'm Andrew, you are you, or are you? So, I tried something new. I actually forgot to set this up beforehand, so I'm going to have to do it live. So I was at Sprouts, I think it was Sprouts. Yep. And I saw a drink. And I thought, well, that looks interesting. I should try that. And let me show you what the drink is. Give me just a moment here. There we go. Oh, my God. Why is it default so huge? Whoops. Nope. No. No, not that. No. The thing I'm clicking on, goddammit. There we go. Okay. Yes, let's automatically size it for 400 times larger than the window. Anyway, so I saw spicy mango lemonade at... apparently it was Trader Joe's. And I thought, well, that looks interesting. I ought to try that. So I did. And I took a sip, and I went... It felt like it was punching me in the throat. So, I turned the bottle around to see what the hell was in this damn thing. Water, lemon juice, well, lemonade, that makes sense. That's a little tangy. A little sour, maybe. What else? Sugar, sure. Mango puree. Well, mango lemonade, I would expect. Jalapeno pepper puree. Oh. Cayenne pepper powder. Oh. No wonder that gall-darn thing was punching me in the throat. I mean, it was flavorful, but... Man, either the jalapeno puree or the cayenne pepper powder, please. One or the other, pick one. I don't think it needed both. You know what? I actually don't have this pick on my computer, but maybe I can show it off. I also saw this I think this was at Sprouts. If you can see it okay. Yeah. Liquid Death. See, it says Liquid Death. It's got a skull right here. Unfortunately, you might have also noticed that it just says sparkling water. It's just water. I looked in the ingredients. It's carbonated water, but it's water. Cool can, though. Almost bought it just because it's called Liquid Death. But it's just water. Chicago says, how's the new job going? I just finished my 4th week at the job, and still learning, so I feel like I haven't actually done anything yet. But I mean, if you want to pay me to do nothing, it's cool. But next week we start in with our mentors. Which is kind of fun because Maitri, who is the person who was hired along with me, she didn't start until this past week. So I started on July 25th. She started on, was it the 15th? Yeah, August 15th. And so we are working with mentors, which is the subject matter experts. To learn the system and write test cases and all that good stuff. So I think she's diving in head first very quickly after starting, where I got to just kind of ease in, an inch at a time. But it's going fine. The interesting difference between my old job and my new job is my old job I was responsible for everything, and in my new job I'm responsible for one thing. one very big, complicated, very important thing, but one thing, right? So that's kind of a difference. But I've been spending a lot of time over the last week. So one of the things we're doing is we are taking a commercial off-the-shelf product in-house. So one of the things we're doing is the company that was administrating it for us had a bunch of their own test cases, right? So what we've done is we've exported in little chunks all of the test cases out of their system, and then we need to format them so we can upload them into our system. But before we can do that, we have to learn it and add test steps. Why are there no test steps? I don't know. How were they running tests with no test steps? I don't know. I just got here. So, like, one of the major actual work things I've been doing is taking spreadsheets of data and formatting it into a format that our system can read it. So kind of just busy work. I haven't really been doing anything that great, but I actually I don't consider myself to be an Excel expert, but I do know how to Google and hit F1. So one of the things I needed to do was, I had hundreds of lines, and I needed to insert like 5 sequential lines for the test steps. So you'd have a line, I needed to insert 5 lines. It was step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I needed to do that between every line. I'm like, short of writing a macro, there's got to be a way to just insert the same set of 5 lines between every single line in a spreadsheet. And I cobbled together a way to do it. And I showed my buddy, who is the person I'm paired with, who answers any questions, points me in the right direction, tells me who people are, where to go to do things. And she's like, holy crap. I wish I'd known about that. Like, I didn't know about that. I just researched and figured out a way to do it, which makes makes it a lot easier. Also, 4 weeks, you know what happened on Monday of week 3? The speakers on my laptop broke. So I have no sound. Which means I can't hear any notifications. So when someone sends me an email, I don't hear anything. When someone pings me on Slack or Zoom, I don't hear anything. I've got 3 monitors. Sometimes I'm not looking at them because I'm over here doing stuff. So I have to constantly be looking, manually checking to see if I have email or instant messages and things like that, and it's a pain in the butt. Been working with support. Now I can. It's not the sound card. It seems to be the physical speakers, because I've tried 3 different USB headsets and I get sound out of all of them. It's just the physical speakers that aren't making any noise. So it looks like they're just going to be sending me a new laptop, which is one of the reasons I didn't bug them to give me temporary administrator privileges so that I could install my printer. Because I figured if they're going to send me a new laptop, I better just wait until I get a new laptop and then do it then. So I've been having a fine time so far. I'm still in the learning phases. I haven't really. Oh, I found a bug in the training modules that I've been going through. So we have a learning center which assigns to us various training modules that we're required to do, and I'm also just on my own going through all of the training modules for stuff that hasn't been assigned to me, but I need to learn anyway. And I found a bug in the training module. So how a lot of these work is there will be interactable things on the screen. So it's like the next button won't appear until you click on everything on the screen and ostensibly read the information that pops up, right? So it'll be like, click on the little icon, each of the 5 icons on the screen, read what pops up, and then hit next. So what's supposed to happen is you click on all 5 or 6 things, and then the next button is unhidden, and you click on it to move to the next screen. What I found is that if you click on one item on the screen, then hit the previous button to return to the previous screen, hit the next button on that screen to go back to that initial screen, the next button is unhidden and you can just bypass everything. So, found a bug. And of course I told my supervisor about this, and he's like, Andrew, were you trying to cheat the learning module? No. That's just how I do, you know. I wasn't trying to cheat. That's how I work. If you watch the Sunday streams, you see that attitude in the way I play a lot. I wonder what happens if I do this, you know? Which is why it takes me forever to get through video games, because I'm putzing around with stuff very often. So I did find a bug, so hooray. I mean, not in anything I was actually testing. I haven't tested anything yet, but still learning everything. Can't tell if something is broken unless I know what it's supposed to do first, you see. Chicago says, I like the new camera's video quality. Yes, thank you. Yes, this is a brand new camera. So it also, one thing that's really nice is you'll notice that it's actually, what do I want to do? We want to get rid of this. It's actually a lot wider. The viewing angle is wider than the last one by about 20 degrees, which actually makes this view with the chat next to me a lot less cramped. And it's also going to come in real handy during the Extra Life charity marathon next year, because I won't have to, like, put a chair in the corner by the door and mount my camera on the back of that chair to back the camera up far enough so that I can get, you know, myself and my sister and Dave on the couch at the same time. You know, it's been a challenge getting everything in frame, and with the wider field of view, it's going to be a lot easier. Now, there was another camera, a more expensive camera, that allowed you to change between 3 fields of view, but it was twice as expensive. And I'm like, no. I'm not paying double for the camera just to just to be able to switch between fields of view. You know, this is also a 1080p camera, but I only stream in 720 just for bandwidth purposes, so I can always just zoom in and not lose any quality if the real wide angle becomes a problem. So I'm glad. I was going to mention that. Glad you noticed. But yes, much better picture quality than that Microsoft 3000, whatever the hell my work camera is. Oh, that thing is such garbage. I hate it so much. Cafe Fox, hello. Haven't seen any spicy mango lemonade at the Trader Joe's there. Well, it's I am a lightweight when it comes to spicy things. Like, I love sushi, but if there's actually slices of jalapeno on the top, I will pick that off. I don't want it. You know, for me, spicy, I only like it so far as it's flavorful. When it gets into pain, or even just mild discomfort, I don't want it. You know, anything beyond I don't want. So that's just me. So your mileage may vary on the spicy mango lemonade. It's pretty tasty, but it's a punch to the throat. At least mine. It's a little sharper than I'd like. I'd personally pull it back on the spiciness a bit. Cap Fox says, off topic, why don't they just put all the Groot episodes under one grouping like a season instead of individual 6-minute standalone episodes? I think I know the answer to this. That's an excellent question, and one I had too. For those who don't know, I Am Groot is like Baymax or like the Doug days from Doug the dog squirrel from Up. Is a series of short cartoons. Doug Days has its own page with the 5 cartoons, much like DuckTales has its own page with all 3 seasons, unless it's the old one where it's 5 or 6 seasons or whatever. Baymax has its own page with its 6 cartoons. I Am Groot, each of the 5 shorts, has its own individual page. Why? Asks Cafe Fox and probably everyone else who saw it. Why is it like that? Why is it not just one I Am Groot page with the 5 cartoons attached to the page? Why does each cartoon get its own bespoke page? I believe the answer is Disney Plus has a Marvel continuity playlist, which plays all of the Marvel movies, shorts, and television shows in chronological order. So starting with Captain America First Avenger, then the Agent Carter short, then the Agent Carter TV series, then the Captain Marvel, and so on and so forth. So the reason they broke up I Am Groot is because the first I Am Groot episode takes place before Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and the other 4 take place after it. So I believe they're broken up into their own bespoke pages specifically and solely because of that continuity playlist that Disney Plus hosts. I'm willing to bet that's exactly why. But yeah, it's pretty weird. Firelight, hello. Brian, hello. Oh, I didn't think you'd be joining. Hello, Brian. Hello from Illinois, says Brian. Just checking in quickly before a fireworks show here. Delayed from the phone. That's a hell of a delay. Thank you, Brian. Chicago, Cafe Fox. Andrew mentioned the same thing last week. Don't know why Disney made each one a separate episode. Firelight. And it feels like the episodes are really only 3 minutes long. The rest are credits. Yeah, they're about 3.5 minutes of actual cartoon. The rest of it's credits. They're not very. They're cute. They're fluffy, cute but insubstantial. They're pretty forgettable. Not bad. They're just kind of there. Do you like Groot? Do you think Groot is cute? You got 15 minutes. You can watch all of them. It's kind of a pain because, again, they're all on separate pages, but, Fox says, yeah, it was cute, but liked Rocket's cameo. Yeah, cameo by the other CG character. So, Lee, hello. Chicago says, now you're going to have to get external speakers for your laptop. That, if they were not going to get me a replacement laptop, yeah, I would have just shelled out for some small USB speakers. But it looks like they're prepping a new laptop to send me, so yay. Chicago, some printers will automatically install the drivers and not ask for admin rights. This one asked for admin rights. So I was actually kind of surprised because it's a printer driver. I'm not sure if it's the driver or the laptop, because they really don't want you installing anything on this on the work laptop. So if you need to do something, like for instance, I needed beyond printer drivers, there were a few things I needed. Like I needed anything that's actually in the Microsoft Store is fair game, I think. But anything downloaded outside that, you need admin rights. What did I need? I think I needed a plugin, a Zoom plugin for Outlook. So I needed to, put in a ticket to get temporary admin rights. Hey, East Demon. Haven't seen that name pop up here in a while. I should check out the Field Chronicle demo. Oh, okay. I'd heard the name. I don't... Radiofield Chronicle. Okay, I'll see if I can get around to that. Thanks for the recommend. Good to see you again. So, alright, where are we? 7:20. Okay. So, about a month ago, I did a Patreon reward video where I watched a montage of Eurovision winners. This video, by the standards of my channel, went viral. Last I checked, it has a little over 14,000 views. I haven't had a video hit into the thousands in like a year and a half. Or whenever I did the reaction to Cardi B WAP video, and that was only like 1,300, 2,000 maybe. I have not had it into the 10,000s in a long time. So, yeah, Matthew, same. I just haven't seen that username in a while. Just sync up all my accounts. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I appreciate you reminding me though, because I have several people who have different names on various socials and will apparently occasionally pop up in Twitch and be like, wait, like Chaos, I know under a different name on Twitter. So sometimes it gets confusing. It's hard to keep everyone straight because you have multiple usernames. You know, I go by Andrew everywhere, which maybe not the safest thing to do. So it's probably best that I'm not particularly popular because it's less likely that anyone's going to bother me. So since I had a video that had enough views to actually calculate some analytics, I thought it would be interesting to take a look at said analytics because they're kind of amusing. Now, I have and have had for 5.5, 6 years now, 11,300 and some odd people subscribe to my channel. Now, since I started in like 2011, my subscriber base has steadily gone up by about maybe 1,500 subscribers per year. Not great, but continual growth. That stopped in the spring of 2017. Subscriber had gone up for 6-7 years, and then suddenly it didn't plateau and taper off. Didn't do like that kind of thing. It went It just leveled off and just completely stopped, and was like and has been like that ever since, which is weird. So I still have 11,300 and some odd subscribers. So, first thing we're going to look at, that's going to become important here in a minute. The first thing we're going to look at is the audience retention. Now, this is where people stop watching your video. Generally speaking, you start with 100% retention because the video starts at the beginning and anyone who watches it for at least a small fraction of a second before clicking away, right? So it starts at 100%, and most of your videos, you will find, drop off very quickly, and then they raise up, and then they taper off, right? So usually, people seem to know within the first minute, usually sooner, whether they're going to watch your video or not. Now, within the next couple of minutes, that's where you lose most people. And then it goes back up. And then about halfway through your video or so, it'll start tapering down again. Now, my Eurovision video, which is 70 minutes long, what do you think it looks like? It looks exactly the same, except it doesn't taper off. It starts at 100, drops down to 27%, loops up to about 45%, and stays there for the entire video. Approximately. It's a little sine wave, but it hovers around 45% retention for the entire 70-minute video, which is really, really good, especially for a video that's well over an hour long. That's kind of incredible. So, you might ask, who the biscuits is watching this video? Let me find the audience tab. There we go. Well, 13.9% from the UK, 10% from Germany, 8% from Sweden, 7.6% from Spain, 5% from the Netherlands. No Americans yet. There we go. I had to actually open up the page. 4.3% from US. Then we've got, 1 to 3% from Norway, Finland, France, Portugal, Greece, Poland, Serbia, Ireland, Denmark, Australia, Italy, Belgium, Romania, Croatia, Lithuania, Ukraine, Israel, Turkey. Pretty much everyone actually in Eurovision. All the countries that actually participate. So that's kind of fun. Most of my audience are European for this video. If you were curious, about 36%, 37%, 18 to 24 years old, 37%, 25 to 34. So that 18 to 35, which is the most prominent age demographic on YouTube, so that's not terribly surprising. Although there is a rather large contingent, about 15%, 45 to 54. So, people who've been around and been watching and enjoying Eurovision for decades. Chicago. I used to have my real name on Twitter and YouTube. I changed all my accounts to be Chicago. Too many hostile people out there, and I didn't want them knowing my real name. Oh, I can't fault you for that. Not at all. To be clear, I don't begrudge any of you for having alt names. That's perfectly fine. I respect that. Sometimes I get Chaos is Addicted to Chaos, which is one of the usernames. I don't see him in the chat right now, but you'll see that name pop up in the stream occasionally. I know him under a completely different name because he's emailed me and also has talked to me on Twitter. So sometimes it's like, now wait, is that person this person? Yeah, I have to draw the line. I have the red stringed cork board in my head. But how are people finding my video, the Eurovision video, right? How are people? Where are the traffic sources? Well, hang on just a sec while I find it. 13% is from Twitter, 12% from YouTube, 12% is from boards.net, 9% is from Google search, and 9% is from Facebook. But nearly half of them are from browsing features. So browsing from the homepage, the subscription feed, and other browsing features. So half of them are just finding it due to from impressions, 88.7% are from YouTube recommending my content. See how that works? When YouTube doesn't bury your content, people actually find and watch it. Weird, huh? Although I do notice that 260 subscribers got notifications. 0 of them clicked on it. Which is weird. It's... So I have, as I said, I have 11,300 subscribers. Apparently 260 were actually notified. That's not a great percentage. And apparently the percentage that the ones that were notified are people who don't exist or don't care, or just aren't interested in Eurovision. Again, you don't have to watch all my videos. It's okay. But here's the one I find the most interesting. Which page is it on? Oh, revenue? Let's see revenue. It hasn't calculated yet. Okay, that's fine. Where is it? Hang on. I lost it. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, it's where I knew that widget. Okay, so one of my analytics is separates watch time. It separates watch time from subscribers and not subscribers. So there's been 14,000 some odd views of this video. I have 11,300 subscribers. What percentage of my subscribers do you think make up that total? It could be 100%, right? It could be all of my subscribers watch this video, and then, a few thousand other people noticed it and watched it too. It could be that. It's not. Do you want to know what percentage of the 14,000 views belong to my 11,300 subscribers? 0.08. I'm sorry, not 0.8, not 0.08, 0.8. Slightly less than 1% of my subscribers are actually watching. The vast 99.2% of the people who watched my Eurovision video are not subscribed to my channel. They're just people who stumbled across it, which is just kind of amazing. So 0.8%. Yeah, it's 150 people or so. That's you lot. Those of my subscribers who routinely watch my videos. That's about it. the less than 1% of people of my subscribers who actually watch my videos. I'm not sure. Did the majority of my subscribers die? Are they just empty accounts with dead owners? Did they all die? I think one thing it might possibly be is, while I do have series like Molehill Mountain Podcast, the Sunday Stream, Debut Review, especially when I was doing more scripted videos, I did whatever the heck I wanted. You really didn't know what you were going to get. Now I usually talking about entertainment stuff, video games, movies, but I didn't really have a theme or a show or I'm the person who just makes mac and cheese. It's the mac and cheese channel. When you want to watch someone cook mac and cheese, you go to Andrew's channel because it's just video after video of cooking mac and cheese. It's a comfort channel. He had no idea what the hell I was going to do, because I had no idea what the hell kind of video I was going to make. So I think probably what happened is people would stumble upon a video and watch it and like it and subscribe and then just not be interested in anything else. For example, I picked up about 100 subscribers, which is the first time I've had any subscribers, net positive subscribers in like 5 or 6 years from the Eurovision thing. My feeling is the vast majority of the 107 new subscribers I picked up over the last month probably won't watch anything else unless I react to more Eurovision. Because that's what they subscribed for. They enjoyed my reaction to Eurovision, and they're not particularly interested in anything else, which is totally fine. So, there is definitely... It's one of the reasons you'll see channels break out into multiple channels. Like they have I review horror movies. Now see my other channel where I review My Little Pony. It's like, but it's you, same person, reviewing with the same format and style. Why not just keep it all in the same channel? Because the way the algorithm and the analytics work out, it's detrimental to try new things. Or rather, it can be detrimental to trying new things can be detrimental to channel growth, which is oftentimes why you will see some of your favorite channels spin off adjacent content, not into a new playlist, but just into a completely different dedicated channel. For example, I could have made a dedicated channel for Molehill Mountain, or Super Podcast Action Committee, or Debut Review. That probably would have served me better. But as a user of YouTube myself, I just rather the content creators I enjoy just keeping track of, I like them all in one spot. I've talked about this before, but I really wish you could subscribe to... I actually don't use the subscription feature. I use bookmarks, because it's a lot easier. Because I can bookmark a playlist. Now, a particular content creator, I may only be interested in, like, one type of content. Like, say, you know, someone's reviewing every episode of My Little Pony, right? But they also have videos where they review the My Little Pony toys. I'm differentiating between the cartoon show and the toys, right? I may be totally into the cartoon show reviews, but not really care about the toys, so I only pay attention to that playlist, without them needing to spin off a second pony channel, right? YouTube's fun. YouTube could really benefit from deplatforming bigots and disseminators of disinformation. That would be nice. But, you know, otherwise... no notes. Oh, Chaos, you are here. Hello. Chicago says, I didn't get the notification at all. I did start watching it, but it was too long and I was at work. Oh, yeah. No worry. I honestly did not expect many more than Lou to watch the video because, I mean, it was 70 minutes long. That is... in YouTube time, that may as well be like 5 years long. Even my sister couldn't get through it. You know, she's like, Andrew, I love you, but that's 70 minutes. She eventually did watch the whole thing, but, yeah. So, no worries. My Wii U videos is how I first found you many moons ago. The For Everything But Wii U. Yeah, I think I had 3 of those in total, if I'm not mistaken. I had other Wii U videos. You know, I had one Wii U video that was, making fun of the touchscreen and how it's like, oh, thank God, now I can finally ignore my widescreen high definition television and play it on a little screen with shitty sound. Yay! Yeah, I made a video like that. I made a video about... I made a couple Wii U financials videos. Made one about the Wii U collecting dust, which I thought was an obvious but still funny joke. It's like, you know, what do you do about my Wii U collecting dust? And it's like, wipe? You dust the damn thing. I'm so funny. I wish I had more time for, scripted videos and skits, but that's a lot of... It's if you don't do video production, it's a lot more time-consuming work than you really realize. I actually filmed the first part of a Andrew Eats video. I haven't done one of those in quite a long time, so at some point in the future, look forward to an Andrew tries Nutella for the first time. Because, yeah, never had Nutella before. I hear it's good. So I bought some Nutella and I tried it on camera. Don't you want to see me stuffing gooey chocolate gunk in my gob? Why? So, that'll be out eventually. Reacts to Doctor Who or other popular UK shows. There you go. Chicago says, I always wondered why some content creators had multiple channels. Thanks. I kept wondering, and it would bug me. That's broadly why. Because YouTube, the way it's set up, disincentivizes trying new things. So if you find something and it works, YouTube wants you to do the same thing over and over a lot. It doesn't want you to do anything else. I'm not making a living at YouTube. So I have the freedom to do whatever the hell I want. So I do podcasts and game streams and trying Nutella, watching Eurovision. I had a whole series where I just watched, not My Little Pony, Gem and the Holograms. And that was actually a modest little success. I found a fun fan community. A wonderful fan community from Eurovision, by the way. I've been blessed to stumble face first into a lot of really wonderful fan communities. Trails in the Sky, Eurovision, Gem and the Holograms. I mean, even these... I'm sure there are toxic elements somewhere. Every community is going to have some measure of toxic element, but... just generally really oodles of wonderful people who are just excited to share their love of and passion for a particular thing, rather than use it to as a cudgel to beat on something they hate. Like I've yet to see a like none of the people in the Eurovision video chat has been like, yeah, screw America's Got Talent. That piece of crap, garbage, curse, swear, and all those, racial epithets who do things. Yeah, none of that. It's just been, oh, this is so cool. You should try this, and you should watch this. It's so much fun. I mentioned something about this on Twitter a couple of weeks back, but, fandom should be about expressing our love for a thing as opposed to expressing our hate for something else. It's just much more fun. To me, anyway. Chaos says, my most successful video only has 7,500 views. My most successful video has well over 1 million views. And surprising no one, it's the one where I pantomime masturbating. Yeah, that's by far my most viewed video. There's actually 3 different versions of that one. There's the original one, and then the one I showed my mom, and then the one I filmed my mom's reaction to her watching that video, and then I filmed my sister's reaction to her watching that video. Both the mom and sister reacts to brother/son masturbating videos. Those both have well over 1 million views. People still watch them today. I do have the analytics that shows what you people are searching for when that video pops up. I know what you're doing on YouTube. And I don't have a problem with it. I'm just wondering why you're doing it on YouTube. I mean, there's plenty of places to watch people masturbate, if that's your thing. And no shame if it is. But YouTube's probably not the best spot for it. Or is it? I mean, I would think it's not, considering how familiar I am with the terms of service, because YouTube makes me be familiar with it, because I have to keep browsing through it to figure out why in the hell they are, flagging my video for content. I'm like, oh my god, what could they possibly be seeing in my video? So yeah, I have the first video I did, the Nintendo Why Won't You Give Me My Money, that's well over 100,000 views. So happy with that one. And then I have I have a couple in the millions. I have at least one that's over 100,000. And then I have several that are in the tens of thousands, which now includes my Eurovision video. The Old Spice parody, I think, is like 30, maybe 40,000 views, something like that. So, I've had a few videos do quite well. So, really, honestly, the only thing that bothers me is the idea that there's 11,000 people who think I'm gone, who would enjoy my content and subscribed to me because they enjoyed my content and thought I disappeared off the internet. Because I tell you, once or twice a month I hear from someone who says exactly, "Oh my god, you're still doing stuff. I remember you from back in, 2013 when I saw that Wii U video." I'm like, "Yeah, I never stopped." So I don't know how I disappeared from y'all. Thanks, YouTube. But yeah. There we go. Chaos says, speaking of Wii U, I love the system, but the download speeds from the Wii U eShop are pathetically slow. Yeah, well, Nintendo has gotten better at online. It's still a decade behind its contemporaries, but it is improving. Cafe Fox had decided to moderate my followers on Twitter because I'm crazy. After 10 years and 5,000 followers, like 3/4 of them are inactive fake accounts. I have 500 and some followers on Twitter. That I don't think I've gained a new follower on Twitter in years either. Then again, the only thing I do on Twitter is tweet. I don't actually follow anyone on Twitter because I personally can't. Because I have the compulsive need to read everything, and if I follow someone on Twitter, I'm going to feel the need to read everything they ever tweet. And if you're someone like me who only tweets maybe a couple of times a day, if that, that's probably manageable. But a lot of people tweet hundreds of times a day, and if I followed people on Twitter, I would never do anything else. It would adversely affect my life. That's why I don't actually follow anyone on Twitter. It's not that I don't care about what anyone other than me says. It's I literally couldn't do it. Because I would... There are websites that I keep tabs on and I read stories, and I prefer the blog roll style for the exact same reason, because I feel compelled to read everything, or at least know everything that was posted. So, yeah, on Twitter, I would have to scroll all the way back to the last tweet I read, and then scroll through them to make sure I didn't miss any Twitter gold. So, that's probably one of the reasons why I don't have any follower growth. Although, I remember I did have 777 followers at one time. I remember, because it was 777s. So, I've lost over 200 followers over the years. Hope you're all doing great. But, yes, you should all follow me on Twitter because I'm very clever. Like, let me look at my Twitter feed and like, where else are you gonna read? Wonderful things like, my neighbor called me over and offered to share her jar of pickles. A totally normal thing to do that I'm not reading anything into. Yeah. Or here's a good one. I just called to say I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. New phone, who dis? Yeah, exactly. So you definitely want to follow me on Twitter now, right? So, the algorithm giveth, and it taketh away, says Chaos. That's true. Basically, be a fan and not a fanboy, says Chaos. Yeah, there you go. Granted, colloquially, I do consider myself a fanboy of, Nintendo, video games in general, cartoons. Like, I use the term to describe myself, but I do take your meaning. Maybe to put more of a fine point on it, being a fanboy or fan person, if we want to be non-gendered about it, is fine. Just maybe don't be obsessive about it or belligerent with it. Don't be an obsessive or belligerent fanboy. There you go. Have I seen the Will Ferrell Eurovision movie? I have not. I actually haven't followed up with. There's a lot of Eurovision stuff that I would actually like to check out, like some of the full performances from the montage that I watched. I just haven't had the time yet because it's one of those things where I want to take a few hours and sit down and really consume. I mean, I could find one video and watch it. It's 3 to 6 minutes probably, but it's kind of like it's how I play video games. If I only have 30 minutes, I'm not going to play a video game. Because if I'm going to play a video game, I better have at least 2 hours, right? That's just how I game. I'm not a quick, short bursts. I'll just play a real quick round of something. No, I want to sit down and relax and play a game. That's just how I do. Some people don't know where to look. I tell my mom to look up recipes, and she looks in YouTube. I mean, that's a fine place to look if you're looking for like a video tutorial on how to make something. But yeah, YouTube's not if you're looking for an actual recipe, probably not. Tell her to look up the directions to a store and she can't find it in YouTube. Okay, yeah. Move her homepage. Chicago says she doesn't know how to use Google. YouTube and Facebook are the only things she uses. It's frustrating, isn't it? Because you want to look at your mom and go, exactly the same way you use YouTube. You see that search bar in the box at the top where you're typing your query? Exactly the same thing. Just type it, that same thing, just the page is called. And what's funny is Google owns YouTube, so technically she is using Google, so... shoot, I actually had topics and I'm really not going to get into any of them. Let's see. Well, since I titled my show the way I did, I guess I should talk about She-Hulk. So the first episode of She-Hulk premiered Wednesday night. No? Yes. Well, first thing Thursday morning. Unfortunately, I was working on that new project that I hope to premiere sometime in October, that I'm not ready to announce yet, which kept me up late, so I didn't get to start my time. The new Disney Plus shows start airing at midnight, which is fine. I can watch them, then go to bed and get up, go to work, which is here. But I didn't start She-Hulk until like 1:30 in the morning, so I was up till 2. Anyway, She-Hulk, off to a good start. I thought it was charming and funny, and looking forward to episode 2. Although the first episode is kind of... I don't know if this is the case, but I kind of got the feeling that episode 1 was not originally episode 1, or at least in total. Because the way it's structured is Jen, who's a lawyer, she's like, I have a case to win. Let's go win the case. And then before she walks out the door, she addresses the camera. She's like, by the way, I am a Hulk. You probably want to know about that, so doobly-doo flashback. And it flashes back to how she became She-Hulk. Then it goes back, so she says, okay, now that you're caught up, on with the lawyer show. And then there's, 2 minutes left of the episode. Titania breaks through the wall, she punches her in the nose, and that's it. Which is fine, but something tells me that the whole flashback stuff was probably a later episode. This feels focus tested to me. This feels like, well, focus tested or producer notes or something. This feels like what Jen was telling us, the audience, is what the producers told the showrunners. It's like, yeah, you want to know up front how this happens, so let's flash back to that before we actually get into the bulk of the show. I don't know if that's actually the case, but it does feel like that. Mainly because the wraparound has absolutely nothing... The flashback does not influence the wraparound in any meaningful thematic way. I think it's a clever way to do that if that was the case, but it came off as a little weird. There were two things that stuck out like very sore thumbs to me, which was really weird. There is a missing scene or a scene inserted where it shouldn't be in the flashback. I'm not sure what happened, but it's really weird. So here's what happens. She-Hulk Jen transforms. You've seen it in the trailer. Bruce has a death buzzsaw trap in his basement for some reason. My, Bruce, what have you been up to? Bruce is the Jigsaw killer. This is now canon. So he scares the crap out of her with a death trap and forces her to change into She-Hulk. And then she says, "Great. How do I change back?" Very next scene, that's not the end of the scene. There is more banter. And then they walk upstairs to the next scene where she's in Jen form again and they do yoga. I guess she figured out how to change back between those two scenes. Okay. Then the very next scene, well, is a transitional shot that shows the sun setting. So the next scene is morning, and she's laying in bed as Jen. Bruce wakes her up with an air horn, and she's startled into She-Hulk form. And he says, "So you do revert to Jen form when you're sleeping." Revert? She was already in Jen form. Did she change back into Hulk before she went to bed? Is there a scene missing? Was the yoga scene not supposed to be in that spot? They just thought it weird that they were walking out of the basement and went straight to bed? Did they forget to... Was she supposed to be She-Hulk in the yoga scene? And they just forgot, or forgot to shoot it so that they could do the effect, or they didn't have the time or money to do the effect, and went, I hope no one will notice. I don't know. Now, does that mean it's a bad show? No. Does it detract from the show? Not much. Stuck out to me, but... you know, it doesn't really hurt the show. It's just something I caught. It's probably just some weird editing thing. You know, it's like, well, crap, it's really weird that they walk out of the basement and apparently just went to bed. So let's move the yoga scene here. Although it's kind of weird that she transformed back between scenes when she had just said she doesn't know how to transform back. And then the next scene, he says that she reverted in her sleep, so that would mean she must have changed back into Hulk form later in the evening and went to bed like that. Making movies and TV shows is hard. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to poke fun at you. So, got a bit of a crush on the actress's Cafe Fox. She cute. She is adorable. I don't know that I've ever seen her in anything. Apparently she's on a show where she plays a bunch of different characters. I don't even remember what it's called. It's like Tiana Maisley or something like that. Not an actor I'm familiar with, but she's got great comedic timing. I've only seen her in 30 minutes of the first episode of She-Hulk, but so far she's doing great. She holds a scene with Mark Ruffalo. They have great chemistry, whether in person form or Hulk form. So yeah, good. Chicago says, I think they included the flashback to explain that she can Hulk out at will without getting angry. Or, the secret, she's always angry. Yeah, I mean, that was probably the note. It's like, yeah, we need to go back and explain how she got the powers and what the rules are and that she can control it, otherwise people are going to be confused. Fair enough. Or it was originally intended to be exactly this way. I don't know. But generally speaking, when you do a flashback, you want it to thematically or at least meaningfully, narratively inform the present. And it doesn't. Does the flashback thematically or narratively, meaningfully narratively, inform anything that happens in the courtroom when Titania busts through the wall? No. Not to me, no. I mean, I'm not a professional film analyst, so maybe I missed it. But I'd say no, not really. Which is one of the reasons why I have a hunch that, they shuffled things around a little bit. Wasn't originally intended to be that way, but you never know. So another weird thing that happened is the editing, both action-wise and comedically and everything else, has been pretty solid throughout the episode. With the exception of that one scene seeming to be in the wrong spot, the yoga scene. Except in the last fight with Titania, which seems to be missing a few shots. So here's what happens. Jennifer Walters, in human form, is about to address the jury. Titania just kicks the wall down and comes in and poses. And everyone's like, ah! Now, why is Titania in there? We don't know. Is that a problem? Not necessarily, but it would be nice if we had any inkling of broadly what she came in there to do. She came in to menace the jury. Okay. We don't need to know why, but unless I missed something, and I only watched it once, so I may have sneezed or blinked or something, she just comes in and stands there not doing anything. So I don't know why she kicked a hole in the wall. I mean, I don't need her specific motivation, but it would be nice if we knew what she was doing, what the threat was. Is she going to kill the defendant? Is she gonna beat the snot out of someone on the jury? Did the judge wrong her in a previous case? Did she lose her cat and she thinks it might be in the courtroom somewhere? I don't know. So anyway, she kicks in the wall and it cuts to Jennifer and her friend Nikki, who says, hey, you should transform into She-Hulk and kick her butt. And she says, but I like this outfit. And there's a really great sequence where she says, ooh, take off your shoes first, because, your big Hulk feet will destroy your shoes. So that's a great touch. I like that. So she hulks out. And apparently Titania was just standing there the whole time, not doing anything. And she says, who are you? And she says, Jennifer Walters, attorney at law. And then it cuts to Titania holding a desk, and she throws it at the jury box. There's no she picks something. There's no shot of her picking the desk up, which makes the sequence be, she's got a desk. Whoa, okay. Jen catches the desk and throws it back at her, and she just really awkwardly kind of falls backwards. And then in the very next shot, she's jump kicking at Jen. There's no shot of her getting out from under the desk or standing up or leaping off the floor. She's just suddenly flying through the air. And then Jen punches her and she flies into a wall. I mean, the basic beats of the action scene are fine. But it feels like there's a few shots missing. Like a shot of Titania doing something, anything, when she came in the room. A shot of her picking up the desk. A shot of her... Maybe even a shot of her reacting to Jen hulking out. Because the only reaction she has is, who are you? Which is a kind of a weird reaction to someone who just hulks out. I don't know. Comes off weird. A shot of her standing up, crawling out from under the desk and launching at Jen. There seems to be about 4 shots missing. It's weird. And so it's a terrible show. No, it's just stuff that sticked out. The rest of it was charming and funny. Bruce and she get in a tussle. I think they could have made the characters a bit weightier, but overall they've got a bunch of fun gags. I love the bit where she figures out the thunderclap and she just gets really excited and starts clapping like a seal. And she's like, yay! And Bruce is like, oh, Jesus, stop it. And when he gets frustrated with her, just pushes her off a cliff. Because he knows she's going to be fine. It's finished. She's like, punk. There's some good stuff in the show. I enjoyed it. Maybe they cut the shot so they had enough time for the 20 minutes of end credits. Oh, come on. The end credits are only about 7 minutes or something. Is Titania working for Grubhub and just wanted to deliver food as quickly as possible? Where's the door? Ah, it's on the other side of the... shoot. I'm just going to bust through the wall and get my tips. Chicago liked the episode, thought it was too short. A few shots missing, but... well, I will say I'm excited for episode 2, so in that sense, yeah. I don't know that it didn't feel rushed. It felt a decent length to me. It did what it set out to do, just give the Jen backstory. It did that. I would have liked more, of course, because I'm greedy and I enjoyed it. I want to watch episode 2. Now, let's talk about the post-credits or mid-credits scene, and spoilers for anyone who doesn't want some of the most important canonical information spoiled for them if they have not seen this yet, so duck out now. Jen Walters is very concerned about the virginity of Captain America. She's like, Captain America, he's a virgin, isn't he? That's terrible, because he's got such a nice butt. But, you know, he never had a girlfriend before the war, and then when he got in the war, he was, like, really busy. And then he was frozen for, 70 years, and then he was de-thawed, and then he was, like, really busy. Didn't have time to get down. And that's sad. And so, of course, she asked Bruce, it's like, yeah, you were his friend, he get down, and he's like, I'm not talking about this, that's private info. So the mid-credit scene is they're drinking at Hulk's Tiki Bar, and she's crying over spilt tequila or whatever, going, it's such a shame. That ass never got to experience sex. He's like, oh my god, he lost his virginity in 1943 during the USO tour. And she says, yeah, Captain America fucked. So he's like, wait, you're not drunk? Now, so, yes, Steve Rogers is not a virgin. This is canon. Or is it? Because how the hell would Bruce Banner know? Was he there? I mean, no shame if that's the way you guys like to swing, but was he there? Is this something that... Steve Rogers doesn't strike me as the kiss and tell kind of guy. Nor a braggart, a sexual conquesting braggart. We also know canonically unless he was lying to us, he can't get drunk. So it's not something that would slip out while he was imbibed. So I think Bruce is just bullshitting Jen. He's just making something up that sounds plausible. Look, he lost his virginity to some woman on the USO tour back in the 40s. Now stop crying. Because how would Bruce know that? Does that sound like something Steve would tell him? When would that ever come up in conversation? Are losing virginity stories something that is common to discuss amongst friends? Am I just a weirdo? I mean, I am. No one has ever offered a, hey, Andrew, how you doing? Great. How are you? Well, I lost my virginity in 1999. Oh. Yep, me and this one person were in a car, and we drove to a place, and then we had sex. Okay, why are you telling me this? I don't know. Maybe how, where, and when, and maybe with who one lost their virginity is a very popular topic among friends, and I'm just weird. But if I'm not weird, at least in that specific aspect, then I think Bruce is just bullshitting Jen to get her to stop crying. He just made something up that sounded plausible. I'm not speculating on Steve Rogers' virginity either way. I don't care. Which is probably why no one has ever shared their virginity stories with me. Or asked me mine. Or maybe they're just afraid of what I'll say. But I think the important thing, Steve Rogers isn't dead. He's on the moon. They said so in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm taking that literally. He's on the moon. Chicago says it could be that that he told Bruce he's afraid to date someone in case it could be his granddaughter because of his tryst at the USO tour. You know what? That actually, someone on Twitter speculated to me that Tony Stark just got it out of him because he just kept pestering him. Just kept needling him. He's like, oh, virgin. It's like, okay, I lost my virginity to some woman on the USO tour in 43, okay? Jeez. Oh my god. Why are you all staring at me? Shut up, Tony. Sure, maybe. Chicago says, afraid to... Yeah, that's plausible. Especially since... Natasha was, constantly trying to set him up with people, and it's like, look, I'm really hesitant about entering into a sexual relationship with someone on the off chance that I knocked up someone on the USO tour and they end up being my grandkid, Ugh. I mean, Sharon, we already found out's my niece. And, we touched tongues! And now it's weird! Jared says he did have a short relationship with someone in Winter Soldier. Wasn't that Sharon? That was Sharon, right? Also, 10-year gap between the war and Endgame. I mean, yeah. Steve Rogers had plenty of time to have sex. Like, yeah, plenty of, I don't know what age he's supposed to be when he enters in the army. I'm guessing is in his 20s somewhere. Just because he's a scrawny kid. Jen says, well, we know he didn't have a girlfriend, which does not preclude one from having sex. And as Banner points out, no, she doesn't know that, regardless of what Wikipedia might tell you. And he's like, well, everyone knows that. The History Channel said so, right? So he could have lost his virginity in high school, or after high school, or in college, or sometime during the war, or during the USO show, or any time after he was unfrozen. Yeah, he worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., but not 24/7. He had an apartment. He had free time. He seemed amiable for Natasha to set him up on dates. Maybe not exactly while he was working, but, So, is Steve Rogers a virgin? Before he went back in time and, spent his life with Peggy? Was he a virgin before there? No, probably not. Why? Because most able-bodied people aren't. Just playing the numbers here. Unless there's something that physically prevents you from having sex, most adults have sex at some point. Not all, but most do. And being that Steve Rogers is an able-bodied adult, odds are, not necessarily, but odds are, he had sex at some point. Probably more than once. Because most people do. Either way, not a value judgment. Also, fictional character. And he's still alive and he's on the moon. Yeah, Sharon Carter. Which is his niece. Right? Niece? Niece. No, I'm sorry, Peggy's niece. Not his niece, Peggy's niece. Still kind of weird. But, alright. So, now that I've made everyone super uncomfortable talking about sex and virginity and especially the sex lives of fictional characters, I think it's time to sign off for the night. So, we are returning to Trails in the Sky, the Thoid, tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time. So, if you're video game, join me for that. And until then, have a lovely Nutella-filled evening. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.